Feliz miércoles, ¿cómo están? Only thing we're going to do today, just want you to watch this video, which is going to be a bit lengthier, and then do the Duolingos, and we'll call it a day. What you really want to focus on now is the past two homework assignments. I'm going to go over the Did You Get It from Monday and the letter from yesterday. So just watch this video. If you have any questions or anything like that, please shoot me an email. But this, especially what you see here in this Did You Get It, is a big part of what we're going to be working on over the next week or two. So for the first one, subjunctive with emotions is always subjunctive. So part one, you're just looking for the subjunctive verb because all of these expressions, expressions out front, are emotions. I'm happy, I like, I'm surprised, it's a shame, I'm sorry, I love, I'm jealous, I'm afraid, it's a shame, I fear. Those are all emotions, so they all trigger the subjunctive, which is why you have vengas, seas, tengas. Now, sentirse means to feel, so it's a shame that you don't feel well. So it's an IR verb. A lot of people had te sientes, but you need to flip the ending there, so it's te sientas, because other ones that were, the rest of them were pretty okay. Just for example, just to go over one of the sentences, temo que mañana vaya a llover is I fear that tomorrow it is going to rain. That is the subjunctive. It's something that I fear. It's not an indication that it's happening. Remember, emotions are not indications that things are happening. They trigger the subjunctive. Part two is a bit more what we're going to be working on. It's subjunctive versus the indicative. So remember, in the original notes, when you filled out your folders, we looked at expressions that would trigger the subjunctive, expressions that would not trigger the subjunctive. Remember, doubt, denial, disbelief, disagreement, those all trigger the subjunctive. However, if you are expressing certainty, something that's obvious, something's true, you're sure of something, anything that expresses certainty, it's going to be the indicative. Remember, indicative would mean everything that you learned in Spanish 1, Spanish 2. The subjunctive is triggered by doubt, denial, disbelief, etc. That's when we start with yo, drop the o, add the opposite ending. So if we look at the first one, it's improbable that would trigger the subjunctive because it's improbable. It's not a certainty. So we have the subjunctive sea. Yo creo, remember there's 5 verbs that you can watch out for that will trigger the subjunctive, or I'm sorry, that will trigger the indicative. Creer is one of them. So I believe that she is a good writer. Because I believe it, it's an indication that it's true. So we use the indicative s. It is not certain that, remember, uncertainty is going to trigger the subjunctive. It is not certain that Sarah is inviting Juan to her party. It is certain, however, because we have certainty, es cierto que Rosa estudia para ser policía. It's true that she is studying to be a police officer. So here we have the indicative because it is true, so we don't flip our ending. It's not possible creates disbelief or denial, which is why we have the subjunctive here. It's not possible that all firefighters act like heroes. It surprises me, this is actually emotion, so it almost belongs up there. It surprises me that you want to be a politician. Again, emotion triggers subjunctive. I am sure that because I am sure that we do not have to use subjunctive, so do not flip the ending, or in this case, do not use the dishes. I am sure that we are going to be very famous. I think, remember, the 5 verbs that we need to worry about, creer, which we saw in number 2, opinar, pensar, estar seguro en saber. All 5 of those verbs will trigger the indicative. I think that you should try to achieve your professional dreams. Because I think it's an indication that it's true. I think that you should. They don't believe. So here we have no creer. They don't believe. That's going to trigger the subjunctive aparezca. Just like up here in number 2, creo que, I believe, indicative. They don't believe, subjunctive. And then number 10, it's surprising to them that you appear among the stars of Hollywood. Again, surprising is an emotion, so it triggers the subjunctive. For these sentences down here, remember the first verb is going to be in the indicative. The first verb is always the indicative. The second verb could possibly be subjunctive as long as the conditions are met. Remember, weirdo expression, que, change of subject. So we have Alberto doubts. Duda, no flipped ending. This is indicative. Alberto duda que nosotros logremos. He doubts that we achieve our objectives. Because he doubts it, there is not certainty, so that's why we flip the ending in lograr. When you see sorprenderme, remember we talked about how sorprender is a verb like gustar? So just like you'd say a mí me gusta, you'd say a mí me sorprende. To me, it is surprising that Ricardo is a mailman. Because it's an emotion, it automatically triggers the subjunctive. You don't think, remember, no pensar or not thinking something is disbelief, which triggers the subjunctive. Que yo logre. Creer, however, she believes that Ramon, this triggers the indicative because she believes it. She believes that Ramon appears in the magazine Time. Because she believes it, it's an indication of truth. So cree, no flipped ending. Que Ramon aparece, no flipped ending, because they're both indicative. Remember, this first verb out here is always indicative, and then the second verb could possibly flip endings if the conditions are met. You are sure that I look like my dad. Because you are sure of it, and it doesn't have the day K in there. It should have had the day K. A lot of you missed that, but it is necessary. You are sure, because you are sure of it, there is no flipped ending, no subjunctive. And a lot of people miss this one. It's not one we've specifically gone over. It appears on that one list of yo forms, but me parezco, no flipped ending. This is the indicative because you are sure of it. Maritza does not believe. Does not believe. Disbelief triggers the subjunctive. Bang on. Maritza does not believe that her friends are coming to her house. So that part 3 is the big goal. We want you to be able to conjugate all the verbs in a sentence and know which ones are indicative and which ones are subjunctive. So if you're not at that goal yet, that's okay. This was practice number 1. We'll have more practices, but that's where we're heading. So if you have any questions about that, you want to make sure to reach out to me because that is the goal. This part, this letter that I wrote you here, what I wanted you to do is kind of identify in context how you can use sentences that use the subjunctive and sentences that use the indicative. So I'm just going to read it out for you here. It's surprising to me that I don't have a cup of hot coffee every day. For that reason, I order that you all bring me fresh coffee each class. We have I order, so it triggers the subjunctive. Also, I'm tired of teaching. I want a student to teach the class for me. It makes me happy that I can sleep at my desk, but it's not possible that we all sleep. What you'll see here is I didn't underline and label. Anything in blue is subjunctive, anything in red is indicative. One person needs to watch the door for the Andy frame. It's better that you all know, that's a subjunctive, that when I'm not in a good mood. I know that you guys are funny. Because I know it, that is an indication that it's true. I know it, so that's why we don't flip our ending with sean. We use the indicative son. I know that you all are funny, but I can't make all of the jokes. It doesn't interest me to grade tests. I wish that you guys would grade your own tests and send your grades to me. Here we have 2 subjunctive verbs, and it kind of distributes, almost like a math problem. I wish that you all would correct, and I wish that you would send me your grades. I will put them in PowerSchool. Sometimes I prefer that we watch videos, especially my favorite movies, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's possible that we include some of your favorite movies, but mine first. I want you to follow these instructions. For that reason, I insist that you come prepared every day. It's certain that it's true that you all start to work right away. Because it's certain, we don't have a flipped ending here, because it's the indicative. I suggest that you all study a lot for the subjunctive test. Again, I suggest it, not an indication that you actually will, so we have the subjunctive. I like that you guys participate in class, but I love that you go to the website and that you play Quizlet at home for the vocabulary. Again, here's another, it kind of distributes. I like that you participate, subjunctive, and I love that you do this and that you do that. I think, because I think it's an indication of truth, that you all should do conjuguemos 5 times each night. Also, I ask that you all bring you the book, La Momia Desaparece. That's a book we're going to be reading soon. Because I ask it, it is the subjunctive. That is an expression that triggers a subjunctive. On the quizzes of the book that we read, I don't doubt that you all will get perfect grades. Because I don't doubt it, no doubt, no dudo. That is the indicative. Because I don't doubt it, it's an indication that it will happen. If you all do this, I am sure, because I'm sure, indicative, I am sure that you will not be sad in my class. After a year that will be fantastic, I recommend, subjunctive, that each student graduates to be Spanish teachers after college. It's obvious. Now, because it's obvious, that is an indication of something that is true. It's obvious that I think this creo is the indicative because it's obvious. And what you actually have here is a subjunctive or a compound sentence within a compound sentence. So it's obvious that I think that you guys are, and all of those trigger the indicative because it's obvious, indicative, I believe, indicative, which is why son is not sean. The second part of the sentence, just to go through here, profe doesn't like caffeine, that's false. Profe thinks that you should do conjuguemos 5 times each week. No, it's each day. It's doubtful that you guys are the best class in the world. False. You guys are the best. Why is it not necessary that you all do the homework to give more money to the creator of conjuguemos? That is not why we do it. While a student teaches the class, what will profe do? He will sleep. Little future tense for you. What will we do in class soon? We will read the book La Momia Desaparece. That's what we'll be doing after this test. The test isn't for a while. I'll let you know about that, so no worries there. What will the students do while profe sleeps? They will watch the door. Who will grade the tests? The students will grade them. When will we watch your movies? We will watch them after watching profe's favorite movies. Now, number 10, what you have here is, do you think that the letter is reasonable? Why or why not? So there's two kind of options that you could go with here. The first one is actually, if we make it red to go on theme, I think that it is reasonable. Because I think it, it's an indication of truth. So we have es. So pienso que es razonable porque el profe Royer es el mejor maestro en todo el mundo. I think that it is reasonable because he's the best teacher in the world. Or I don't think that it's reasonable because I don't think it. That's why we have sea. I don't think that it is reasonable, subjunctive, because it's a lot to ask from students, or whatever you wrote there. So those two assignments are all you have to do, or all you had to do, and all I wanted you to review. So just go do your Duolingo, and we'll talk tomorrow. Have a great day.